Thank the organizations for having me. I hope I can keep your interest all the way to lunchtime. Please, if your stomach's growling, let me know. Yeah. I'll have two short video clips to give you an idea. Since our focus is on the ASEAN countries, so we're going to try and get this right. Um, right. By the way, beetroot in Singapore, there's another aspect of it. You crush it and drink it as a juice, and it's supposed to be a health drink. So that's another market for that one. I hope that helps. Yeah? Right. Okay, my organization, we started off with cold chain, and we found that we got stuck with that, and because all the other problems came up. So supply chains came into it. In countries like Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, the greening of the agribusiness was thrown into our laps as well. So we had to talk about going green. In Singapore, particularly, food sourcing, food security was an important area. In that 96% of Singapore's food is imported. So we are like Hong Kong. We're a small piece of land. The worst thing is that the politicians, the police up there are interested more in building factories and condominiums, which brings more return on investment for the government. So food is secondary. But they have food security. So yeah, so it's all imported, which is good news for you. Contract farming, we had to help some of the importers go to third countries, like Vietnam, to start up specific growing for specific needs, right? I'll explain later. New technologies came into play, R&D on-site, blah, blah, blah. Let's not talk too much about that. Southeast Asia, wow. Everybody's talking about Southeast Asia today. Now let me just give it to you. The economists have said that it is now, they are predicting that it's the new bright spark of the economic scene around the world, the global economic scene. ASEAN is billed as the third economic pillar after China and India, because we will be a single economic community by 1st January 2016. Now, you already, Australia already told you about your Australia-New Zealand trade agreements, your FTAs and such, which means that if you enter one country in ASEAN, you have the other 9 at your doorstep. So which is a good thing. Okay, the only thing that we do have a problem is different cultures and different cuisines that you'll have to get your head around. But other than that, it will be a common market, so to speak, right? Now, ASEAN Plus is interesting to you because with the trade agreements within ASEAN, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and China, which means that you can also, through that, consider moving into those markets. So it's a more relaxed market for you to get in rather than a restrictive Japan, for example, and you might want to consider that. With this grouping, we are going to put the whole lump together with India and China and everybody else. We are talking, because we've got FTAs with India as well, which means that you are now looking at a 3 billion market rather than a smaller market that you are. So one little sector of that is going to be worth your while. But that's our problem. That's the next one. Feeding these 3 billion people is a massive issue. Great massive issue. China is not helping any. Okay? Last week, Alibaba, the famous online fella, he just announced that he's launched his food distribution centers. He's built 2 new ones and he's launched it. Great. Side by side to the newspaper article, there's another scandal. China has arrested 14 gangs, I don't know how many people, with 100,000 tons of meat that's rotting away and being sold to canneries to be sold as canned meat. So you got one that's an online thing going, and the other end you've got a fraudulent, scandalous thing that's going on. So that's scary, isn't it? So which is good news, again, for you. Every time people look at a box or at a parcel and they look at that and they say it's proudly Australian, made in Australia, it's an automatic buy for sure. At least for the more advanced, parts of the population with the middle income group, that they will look at it and they will buy. That's for sure. So you're in a pretty good position. For example, I just give you something that happened before. South Australia used to put on their apples and fruits SA. What the South Africans did was to imitate that logo and stick it there, and they've got SA there. Just to be an Australian, to look like an Australian product. See? So they're trying to get in. So the question early on about knockoffs, yeah, well, it's coming from the other countries as well. Okay, we are moving, the Asian part is moving from market gardens to actually agribusiness, which where I'm supposed to assist under APAC and APO, under 8 programs that I'm supposed to be involved in. Because we have to consider waste loss as well. Singapore, being the most affluent, has one of the world's greatest amount of waste loss in relation to the size of the country. So this is what we're looking at in Asia. Now that's what you'll have to look at. 1, distance. Complicated routing and distance is an issue. So you'll have to look at your ethylene, your cold chain, your humidity issues that are going to affect your produce as you go along. We have different modes of transport. We have diverse levels of progress, which means that our infrastructure it can be as diverse as one end in Singapore. You can get anything to the other side of town in 40 minutes. Or the other end of Myanmar will take you days just to get to the next town, which is going to affect your product. All right? So infrastructure that in some cases are aging, and they are spending money. Not all of them are spending money, but they are. Now, just to give you a bit about the Singapore infrastructure, those of you who are shipping your veggies by air, Singapore is up and running. It's their new cool port, which is at the airport. I led the team that did the specifications to design that, which in that particular location, it's the only one apart from Dubai that actually has from the plane right through the port, right to the importer. That's the cold chain, relative humidity, including the stress on your veggies. Okay, because we had to write the details in. And because we wrote the details in, it cost 22 million in the onset. That's a lot of work. The money didn't come to me. The money went into the darn project itself. Okay, so you've got air containers coming in, AVs coming in, plugged in immediately into powered dollies, and you have cool systems all the way through. So there's no breaks in their air shipments, which is always the weakest point. Yeah, in other countries we have problems of customary and traditional mindsets where the cultural and your cuisines and all come in. We have even rival states and provinces who actually fight for, we are better than the other guy, and we have idiots who actually go up there and bullshit their way through. Forgive me, ladies, but that's a word I have to use. Which actually comes up with a lot of rubbish, and here you are, wonderful people, working your lives away, all right, to produce a fantastic product, and out comes the other end rubbish. You've shipped it out perfectly well. How they handle it is coming out rubbish, which is now the new thing in Asia today, especially ASEAN. They're looking at Singapore as the lead because Singapore is the only country that's actually spending money on it, on infrastructure. So they're going over and saying, because I get requests, can you help me call somebody and just get an appointment? Can I go and see what they're doing inside? And then we want to do it at home in our country. So I get that quite often. So yeah. So they come in, they see what to do. So you have things like packaging, tracking, inventory control, but we also have geographical and topographical problems. For example, one end of Java to the other end of Java, here is a produce, somebody producing, say, cabbage or carrots, and it's supposed to be in the other end. I wouldn't say the port because then you know where it is, in 3 hours. But by the time it's traffic jam to get over there, they put it in a truck and they put a tarpaulin on it, and half a dozen workers sit on top. It gets the other end is cooked veggie. Okay? And they do it too often. So no matter how the government comes in with nationalistic policies to say, well, we're going to eat local. Well, it's very fine. It's a very noble cause. But you can't eat noble if the other end comes out cooked veggie already, particularly steamed under the midday heat. All right? So industrial practices that I mentioned are coming out the traditional. They're trying to learn new concepts, but you are the ones who actually can come in and do it. The problem is what veggies that you produce, some of them don't apply there, like beetroot. They don't traditionally eat beetroot, okay? But education, you're on the right path. Educating them is the greatest thing that you can do. So when you educate them, you change their mindset. I've got a picture of this lady here, and she's not there for fun. She's a French lady. She's an expatriate. What she did was she found a market in Singapore, and she loved the veggie there. It was all done properly. And what she did was she started her own online business. She buys from the market and delivers to the households. Wonderful, eh? Quick-minded, very creative lady. Now, and because I talked to you about the land, you know, I just want to do a quick one, if it's possible. I'm not sure. Would it come out?
Just click the next one.
Okay. And how does it go on? On. It's already on, or just click? I hope it works. If it doesn't work, then I'm sorry. I just want to give you a quick clip on what the extremes that Singapore would go to. This is vertical farming. I don't know any of you have seen this before or heard of this, but this is vertical farming. Volume, please.
This is Singapore's farm of the future. Instead of taking up large tracts of land, these plants will grow to maturity in troughs like this, stacked on aluminum towers. It's called vertical farming. Sky Greens has patented this system of rotating vertical racks.
Singapore is land scarce country, so if we want to produce our own food, we must go high productivity.
At the heart of this system is a water wheel, an ancient idea adapted
I
to
finished, I
modern
just clicked.
use. Here, it is powering the
when it
pulleys
comes
that
up,
move the
you don't
racks
have to use
of
the
plants.
computer, just keep
The
going,
farm
and
says
it'll
the water
play.
wheel
So just
pump for
next
one
slide.
tower only needs the amount of energy it would take to power a light bulb. Instead of watering from above, the troughs of plants slowly rotate up and around the towers, eventually passing through a base of circulating water.
So for the plant, they don't overstress under the hot sun. At the same time, they can get nutrients and the water equally.
The water is then recycled back and then filtered before returning to the plants. This method requires far less water than traditional farming. The farm is also experimenting with water from its own ponds, where fish help keep the water nutrient rich.
Sky Greens has just over 100 of these towers in operation, with a goal of producing over 2,000 by 2014. The company also hopes to eventually sell its technology in other countries.
This is the first venture into vertical farming in Singapore, and the country is eager for high-tech agriculture. With land at a premium, traditional farming has been largely phased out. The country imports more than 90% of its food. The farm has backing from the government, which sees the value to the food supply, but also sees the commercial value of this type of sustainable farming. From the tower to the supermarket. Compared to imported food, locally grown food cuts down CO2 pollution emitted during transport. The fledgling farm has enough volume to place its produce in only a handful of stores in Singapore's major local chain. But the supermarket says that in 2 months, sales have climbed by 40%.
The consumers are fully aware that these are coming from local farm. You know they are able to get fresher vegetable.
And customers seem happy to buy Singapore-grown vegetables.
Freshly picked this morning. It's very sweet. It's for me, for preparation is very easy.
Sweet and sustainable. If you want to solve the problem of growing food where land is scarce, reach for the sky. Leslie Slaw, CNN, Singapore.
So there you go. Because we do have a same problem of water restrictions, because being an island, we have limited rainfall, so there's the water issue, there's the power, your electricity and whatever is controlled. So this is just one of the ideas that came up, right? I'm not gonna mess you up because I only got 25 minutes. Later on, perhaps you can ask the organizations for my slides. The challenges in vegetable exports. Firstly, in Asia. We are interested in fresh cut, what you have. We know that there are two parts: temperature sensitive and ambient, and then we are worried about our best buy or used buy. We look at our cooling systems, and we are very concerned about the fact that in China, all things go wrong. So we want to know where it comes from. So our tracer, thanks to them anyway, we thank them. Barcodes, QR codes, and RFID. Is now being used extensively, even in veggie. Our QR codes can be found even in Taiwan. Even Taiwan has gone into this. A little bundle of veggie has got a QR code. Afterwards, we'll look at a QR code. It's nothing more than a little square, everything all in like a barcode. But what happens is that you can use your mobile phone with the free apps. Asia, for example, just to let you know, is the craziest area for mobile technology. Everybody has a phone. Most people have more than two phones for different reasons. So they've got phone, they've got tablet, they've got two phones and a tablet most of the time. So what they have with a lot of free apps that can actually read those QR codes, they go in and you can see the shopper in the supermarket scanning that QR code to see that it was picked from your farm yesterday and it's here today, and it's because it's from your farm, then it's not from China. It's okay. It passes. No knockoffs, right? Yeah, so there you go. That's very important. So because of the food safety compliance, the professionalism of Australian food is there. My friend Anthony here has talked about packaging, so pack size comes into it. Nowadays, when the families the more affluent families don't have that many kids, 2-3 kids, and so it's a family of 4 or 5, so small packs are more in demand. But I'll tell you just about, in just a minute, active and nano packaging come into play because we like this nano packaging where from the color code on the top, outside of the packaging, it tells you how ripe or how advanced in maturity is the fruit and the veggie inside. So that's another thing and they pay for it, by the way. This is the safety issue. One of the things that the Asians now are being rudely educated is food safety. So what goes into the arm, into the mouth, is now a big issue, all right? Ethylene control technology. I thought I would just bring something in for you to see. Little patches like this. This is inert, of course. Now you can get a couple from me afterwards. It's inert, of course. This thing goes into his cartons, right? And if you're shipping something that's emitting, like tomatoes, emitting a lot of ethylene, and you want to fix your ethylene at that level, and this is an absorber. It's a little piece of plaster that absorbs. So we as Asia are now going into it. This is being used by Walmart, Tesco at the moment. Carrefour is also interested in it. But this is what we are looking at the moment. So yeah, we are also desperate to make sure that what comes to us stays fresh. So yeah, these are the kind of things. Now, another thing that we look at packaging today is the fact that in Asia, our labor costs are rising. Now, you want to know why you can't sell after you've done so much work and you've gone into a market and somebody comes in and underquotes you because you're selling them from a carton, bulk. Now, when it comes to selling in bulk, people like China will underquote you automatically. But look at the consumer. Look at who's going to buy your product. Now, there's two parts of a consumer. One is what we call B2C, business to consumer, which you're talking about now. What about the other guy, the B2B, business to business? Just to let you know, in case you don't know, the in-flight kitchen in Changi Airport used to produce 72,000 meals a day. How many men do I require to be sitting in the kitchen cutting up my veggies? You can count. Yeah, and can drive you crazy. And it will never be consistent. All right? Now with the extended flights and more terminals coming up, they're doing over 100,000, about 120,000 a day. And that's just for the planes, mate. That's for the planes. Don't shake your head. Yeah, just to let you know, the Vietnamese government has approved the new airport for Ho Chi Minh, which means another flight kitchen coming up there. Hanoi is now voted as the third most busiest airport in Asia, in Asia minus China. Also looking at an airport, also looking at a flight kitchen. Now, what does that do for you in terms of veggie exports, if you can get in that market? It's fantastic, isn't it? The potential is fantastic. But it's got to be value added. It's got to come in pre-cut, pre-packed, so that I can do that 10,000 meals in a row or whatever it is necessary. Who can do it better than you? Not me, you. Who knows better about a product? You do, not me. So this is opportunities that you can do. Now, then we have this, the operational support, which others have talked about, food processing. This is talking about that kind of market, the B2B market. Now, it comes out, what about the web business that's coming up? Last month, I was in Taiwan. I had 15 representatives for 15 countries. And we're talking about e-grocery now. They want to buy your product, but they want to buy it online. Now, AUSPOS can't get it to me the same way as you could. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to do it, bring it over there in bulk, and then redistribute it online. Now, this is where you can now have to wrap your head around all these extra things that's going to happen. Okay? So what is your Asian market? Well, your Asian market is quantity of the products by lot size, as I was talking about the sizes. Number two, response time, the tolerance. ASEAN is a little bit more tolerant than Japan. That if a slight little bit out, we still will accept and not go and claim against you and say we won't pay you. But we need variety, because we have an expat population. In Singapore, it's 1/3 of the population. There's over 2 million people. Service levels required. We need it to be pre-packed that way to save us from importing so much labor from third world countries. We need you to innovate and create your product so that, like the beetroot, we can buy it from you. So that's an interesting market. Food safety concerns, I'm sure you can address those. But you have an advantage because you got 4 seasons, seasonal cultivars. You can hit the market where it hurts, when it hurts. Right? Go in, get the bucks early. So we need information. You need information for your forecasting and your planning for your for your production. You need to coordinate and monitor your activities to get there. Right. Let me see. So I just put this up as a matter of interest. If those of you who are interested to see what you need to do when you want to get into our markets, just to list it out, okay? We want fresh. So Asian market, fresh. That's why I said the Hong Kong fellow, he doesn't care what the thing is. As long as the high price means it's fresh, I buy. Funny, weird thinking, but yeah, it works. Okay? Technology applications. This is a QR code. Because of now, you buy a Samsung phone or Acer phone or whatever, they come complete to you with access to cloud computing. So Asia is jumped the gun and moving from your traditional technology right up to mobile technology using apps, reading from apps and such. And I just give you an idea how crazy it is. Sometimes when you go to the supermarket, even in Coles and Woolies here or IGA, special offers that you see on the brochure, right? You say, where the heck is it? Where did you put it? I don't know. I thought he was there this morning, but that's it. Well, even in Korea, they came up with something different. The Look at that.
eMart is branching out its mobile business. eMart and mobile's unexpected encounter. How would that work? Idea. An event to experience eMart's new mobile technology, eMart Sale Navigation. Let customers know the location of discounted products in a huge store through their smartphones. Technology. The LED lighting in eMart sends data signals to your smartphone through a lens in real time. Only by using the light, lens, and a smartphone, you receive shopping information. An application on your smartphone will let you find out where you are and where you should go. Your smartphone acts as a navigation system by communicating with a light in eMart. When you arrive at the spot for the products on sale, your smartphone receives the signal from lighting and shows you discount coupon. Let's go! What's on sale today and where? eMart held a special event for its upcoming mobile business. First, people experienced a new form of shopping with their smartphones, just like driving with a navigation system. And they could find the products on sale very easily.
내 스마트폰으로 세일 상품이 어디 있는지 정말 쉽게 찾을 수 있었어요.
내비게이션을 그냥서 운전하며 쇼핑하니까 너무 재밌어요.
세상 많이 바뀌었어.
Through this event, consumers are now looking forward towards eMart's new mobile business. eMart and mobile have come together.
So there you go. So you can see that your beetroot may not be found in cold storage in Singapore, but maybe with that we'll find it around the corner, hidden away. Yeah. So with that, I just want to do a quick one. This is a little chart to complement my friend Anthony on the type of packaging that we are looking at. Active, it's under intelligent packaging. Active packaging, we have scavengers, emitters, and all that kind of thing. So we have diagnostic indicators and all those things. We put it together as part of your packaging for you to. You can get the slides from me later, Anthony. No worries.
thank you.
Yeah.
Can I write
No,
this
he's
quickly?
trying to write. He's trying to write it. A poor man. He's not that fast in. Yeah. And I'm trying to finish it in 25 minutes. Everybody's hungry. Yeah. But yeah, you can get. I'm sure Daniel, you can let them have. Anybody needs it. Yeah, they can have it. So this is the kind of thing that we're talking about to help you to better handle your supply chains. The problem is, as I said in the beginning, you come up with a fantastic product, you put it on a truck, and it goes out of your gate, and then you suddenly get a claim from the other side saying it comes out as rubbish, which is wrong. So you don't know what happens to it after it leaves your gate, which is wrong. You need to know exactly what happens to it. Just to add on to the Korean experience, if you go to a Korean supermarket, and this is a small cooperative but has a giant supermarket, you take a bundle of veggie, and they've got a barcode, so it's a traditional barcode. But there's a huge touch screen monitor like this, all right? And you go in there, and you just, you press the buttons to get the numbers out, and it will track for you where your veggie came from. It was from that processing pack house, and it came from so-and-so's farm, and it was picked yesterday evening because it's the best time in the evening. And they look at it and say, whoa, all right, it's fresh. So they are trying to, even through the supermarkets, they're trying to educate people, okay? Give them confidence in your produce. Everybody knows Aussie products are great, just reinforcing it. I'm not saying that you got to spend a lot of money on technology. They're already spending the money on the technology. What you could do is take a, hitchhike and take a ride off them, all right? Know what they already are doing, hitch a ride on them, and you can get there too. So let me just quickly get on with it. Active packaging, yeah, it's all there in details. I'm not going to go teach you that. Now, as I do this, I just want to introduce this thing. The brand, it's fresh. It's from the UK. Tesco, Carrefour, Marks and Spencer's, Walmart are already using it. They swear by it, but it's at the moment used for specific things like tomatoes and strawberries and such, which are ultra sensitive. There's a calculation on the size per size of box. and where you're going to put it on top and below, or some cases just on top, and that'll be it. Okay, so just to introduce to you some new things, new technologies that you could use. And then these are other people that are not supermarkets that are already using it, and it works for them. Right? Asian markets are already turning, as I said, to e-grocery, and they want to look at the value chain. Right now, they're looking at your value chain, what you can do to help. If you can cut down the number of extra workers these big organizations need to employ just to go and get them at the right size, you know, your potatoes are also beautiful, but I need them at that specifically, you know, how many millimeters by so many millimeters, because it's got to go to that plate. You know, chefs are very funny people. I'm sure there's some chefs over here, or some self-taught chefs. You'll be very touchy, and you say, I want it to be that size, and it's got to be that way. So if you are demanding that, it's happening. For example, the two biggest casino resorts in Singapore, Marina Bay Sands and Resorts World, all their outlets, 20, 30 outlets, food outlets, all chefs specify that if you want to supply to them, it's got to be in their specs according to their menu. So they're already there. The demand is already there. But they're willing to pay more because they save on another 100 assistants, kitchen assistants. They're willing to pay you more. So you're going to get your value for money. All right? And this is just some screenshots of online type of things where you can actually see veggies that are actually barcoded and QR coded. This is the potential. The growth potential for online Asia is the fact that they are better educated and now more technology crazy. They want to stay connected. So if your thing gets posted by one of these youngsters and say on Facebook and say, you know, this thing that came from the beetroot one came in, next thing you know, you've got 12,000 followers. You know, and that's what's happening out there. So there's already, the governments know that, and the governments are spending a lot in internet and communications infrastructure technologies. The middle class growth that's already been spoken about. Adapting to change, they're moving from, they don't want to reinvent the wheel, they want to borrow a few more wheels from you, and you go straight there. Online consumer and online business, as I said, higher expectations from the services I buy, I'm willing to pay, but please give me a good product, okay? Their willingness to pay for quality service and convenience, and they don't want, therefore, there is an easy entry into online business, okay? They are already buying off-the-shelf software at this time. Okay, just making sure that your supply chain partner that's all the way in Asia has got to have a network, not some backwoods boy, okay? And he has a flexibility to accommodate your dynamic changes. There must be innovative and creative like you do with your beetroot, not dependent upon just technology, but use your head, okay? Sensitive cargo product training. They must have alternatives, B or C. They must be able to handle disasters. Right now, out of the blue, Malaysia has never had earthquakes. Last month, and it's till now, they're still having earthquakes in East Malaysia. It's something that nobody expected. And they produce food too. But now, no more supplies from East Malaysia. The earthquakes put an end to that because they can't even feed themselves. Okay? So these are things that are happening. Asia is growing, is dynamic, is something different. And ASEAN is one of the fastest growing areas. Okay, with that, I have to end it. Oh, I'm already over time. Thank you.